Hey guys, what is up? Today I come to you yet with another weekly review of Boku no Hero Academia Season 2, and we are at Episode 3. And my god, for the first race, the ending of this first race just had me hyped up. And seeing what Deku did in this episode was something unexpected, given that he did not use his quirk at all compared to all the other students during this first race. So we come to the conclusion of the first race, which is the obstacle race, and of course they were facing against the Fox robots that we saw back in season 1 during their entrance exam, and the students had to overcome that obstacle of defeating these, and then getting to the next part of the obstacle race where they have to climb these wires over these steep mountainsides and try not to fall or else they'll be taken out of the game. So what Deku did with his strategic mind and quick-wittedness, he took the pieces like a scrap metal that Todoroki blasted away with his quirk, and he used it as both his weapon and his shield. And when it came to really shine was when they reached the last part of the obstacle race, where they had to go through this minefield. Of course, the mines were not powerful even if you were to touch them when they detonated, that they weren't powerful enough to blow off body parts, but enough just to give you a little scare, and it will make it a lot more difficult to reach the end of the first game. So as I said, it was unexpected because I did not think he would have used that scrap metal to dig up as many mines as he can. And of course Todoroki and Bakugo are at neck and neck, so we didn't know. I think a lot of us possibly were thinking, okay, Todoroki was definitely have this first part hands down, he was going to get first place, and even if Bakugo was to get second place, that would have just been pretty obvious. But none of us expected for Deku to did what he did, and was gather those mines, put them down, and he actually used one of Bakugo's moves. You know, when Bakugo uses his explosive, his quirk is to create explosives from his hands, and he used them as propellers to at least make himself seem like he's flying through the air. So Deku took the scrap piece of metal and launched himself accidentally launching himself onto the mines, which caused a huge explosion, which allowed him to soar through the sky. And I was just like, oh my god, I did not think he was going to do that. I honestly did not think he was going to be able to do that, because how is he going, especially this last part of the race, how will he be able to get through it? Because it's either he runs fast and get caught in many of the explosions, or he takes his time and ends up coming last. So once he's flying through the air, he catches up to Todoroki and Bakugo, but he was about to fall and still come up short behind them. But then he surprised me once again as he used them as propellers. He put his feet on their backs and propelled himself to the front running, and he won first. And I was like, yo, I mean, like, yes, all the other characters use their quirks, but this is what makes Deku so different, seeing as he got his quirk late, not due to natural talent, but because it was passed down to him from All Might. And all this time, if you take into consideration of how he always looked up to other heroes, and he always took down notes about their capabilities, what their quirks are, what can go against their quirks, and he has studied many heroes and such, and obviously he has studied his opponents, his classmates. It's no wonder Deku is capable of thinking of so many procedures beforehand and using his quick-wittedness to get him through various situations, despite him not being able to fully control one for all. So I truly admired Deku for that, and that made him stand out way more than all the other characters, even Todoroki and Bakugo, during the first race. So he was first, and we're so proud of him because of that. And now we got to the part of the episode where, while we're rooting for Deku, at the same time we're like, you're screwed, my guy. So he got first place, and the second game for, overall games at UA Academy is this game called Calvary Battle. And as they demonstrated illustration of how the game is. You know, you have a group of 2 to 4 people, so it's not an individual game, it's a group effort, and you basically have, say, like 2 or 3 people holding up one person. And if I understand how the cavalry battle goes, that person on top has to fight the other opponent to knock them down, and whoever remains standing is the winner. Of course, after the first game, possibly we had 100 something students. Now it's cut down to 42. So as they showed before the games actually started, more people will be getting knocked down as more games come by, until we have 2 people left for the final stage, and they will face off against each other, and then we'll see who wins the UA Sports Festival. So knowing that Deku won first place, the second game, the cavalry battle, how it's set up is by a point value system. So whoever was at 42nd place, the last place, they have 5 points, and it keeps going up by 5. And who's ever in first place has 10 million points. So now Deku is surely everyone's enemy. Everybody wants to get into Deku's spot. Everyone wants to be first place. And this sucks for Deku, because if you saw the preview at the end of the episode, after, you know, the ending song, it looks like no one wants to be on Deku's team. I mean, if it was me, I certainly would want to team up with first place, because even if I don't get, you know, if I don't end up winning first within the second stage, at least I have better chances of, you know, getting close to that position than, you know, not partnering up with him at all. So instead of partnering up and being smart, and some of the strongest characters possibly could have teamed up with Deku, instead everyone is gunning for his position and doesn't want to work with him. So yes, we rooted for him in the first stage and how he completed it with flying colors, and in a way that we did not think he would have done so. But this is Deku we're talking about, so he's going to do things that is not normal. And to see how the end of the episode kind of screwed him over, now I can't wait for next week's episode and see what's going to happen for Deku. And by the preview, possibly someone may join his team, but for the most part, everyone else is just like, no, we're not joining your team. You're going down. So this was an exciting episode, and it was also pretty funny at the end. I feel sorry for Deku. So if you guys saw this week's episode of Boku no Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 3, do drop a comment down below on how you felt about this week's episode. What were some things that you found to, you know, some expectations that you have for this episode? Did you expect Deku to do any of that sort of stuff? And were you happy that he came first within the first stage? And what are your hopes for next week's episode? The links are in the description box as always. You guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!